Hey guys, what's up? Cormando here, and welcome to my WWE 2015 Survivor Series predictions. Yep, got there in the end. Let's just get straight to it. Got a few things to talk about, and there's not a lot of matches, but there's kind of a few things to talk about for certain matches. But let's go. First one, we have Roman Reigns versus Alberto Del Rio in one of the semi-final matches for the WWE Championship tournament. I think we all know Reigns is winning this. If Reigns lost, that'd be like one of the biggest shocks ever. I just don't see that happening. I'm just reading something on what culture about swerves that could happen. But I honestly don't think Reigns losing to Del Rio would happen. There's just nothing more to say. But speaking about that, well, I'll speak about the possibilities of other people, the other people that should have gotten in. I'll speak about that at the end because there's a little bracket thing here on Wikipedia. I'll speak about that in a minute. But next match, Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose. Again, it's most likely that Ambrose will win. But like one of the swerves on that thing said that Kevin Owens could beat Dean Ambrose. I mean, I really doubt it. I really think they're going with this Ambrose Reigns thing. I think that's the way they're gonna go. So I'll say Ambrose will win it. But if Owens did win it, I wouldn't be disappointed in that at all. So there's that. It's a bit of a quick one, but we'll speak about. I've got some other stuff to talk about, so it's not a problem. So and then after that we have Ziggler versus Tyler Breeze, Dolph Ziggler versus Tyler Breeze, which is just announced on SmackDown. SmackDown was alright, I was just watching it. Well, I finished it like a couple hours ago now when I was watching Superstars and doing other stuff. SmackDown was actually okay. It was a lot of short matches, which I don't have a problem with. But it was alright, it was decent. But anyways, Dolph Ziggler versus Tyler Breeze. The build to this has been kind of strange because this tournament thing has been kind of preventing feuds from happening. Which is kind of annoying, to be honest. Like, Del Rio and Owens are in this and they're champions. And speaking about Del Rio, I feel they've kind of, maybe just because of this tournament, but unlikely, but I feel they've kind of ruined Del Rio. Like, they came in as a major surprise last pay-per-view, and everybody was really shocked by it, and now it's like, who gives a shit really about him? And he's US champion, and they're not talking about that. But that's kind of because of this tournament. But it shouldn't really be that way, They should be defending the US title. They could have him defending it on the same night or something, or you could be involved in a feud or something. I mean, they did one segment with Jack Swagger, but that was it. Like that was another swerve thing that they said Jack Swagger could cost Del Rio the match or something. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it because I like a screwy finish. So many people complaining about Hell in a Cell last month. I was like, oh my god, just ridiculous. All the kiddies or people you would think would know how wrestling works, but they clearly don't, and just complain after complaint after complaint. It was ridiculous. Just ridiculous. But I wouldn't be opposed to that. Jack Swagger coming in and costing him. But what was I talking about? I think I was talking about Ziggler and Breeze, but how the feuds and stuff have been kind of not getting much attention. Like Ziggler super kicked him on SmackDown. Apart from that, not a whole lot's been happening, which is just typical each year. I don't really have much more to say about it, to be honest. But I would go with Breeze to win, but it is the WWE, and he did lose his first match on the main roster, so you never know. He might end up losing here. I'll go with Breeze. Next, oh my lord. We have Charlotte versus Paige for the Divas Championship. Oh my lord, that main event contract signing thing on Raw was awful. Absolutely awful. And not for the reason that people are saying with the whole having to mention Charlotte's brother dying. Like, that didn't really bother me. I can understand why it would bother some people, but my problem was the promos were awful. Just absolutely awful. Like, Charlotte didn't have a lot of promos in NXT, but I don't remember it being this bad. Like, just awful. So like robotic and monotonous. Just so bad. Just so bad. Just clearly reading from a script. Maybe that's why she wasn't bad at NXT, because she maybe had more freedom with what she was saying, but so bad. And Paige is bad too. She's not as bad as Charlotte, but Paige is still bad. Just an awful, awful segment. Really, really bad. I remember in the morning of Tuesday when I got up and I was on the wrestling site, I just was flicking through the Raw recap report thing. I was just getting down to the comments, and then I just seen like Charlotte or something at the bottom, and I was like, what? And then I read a little bit, and I was like, they were the main event, and I was like, and I wasn't like, like, oh my god, really? I was just surprised by it to see that was the main event, and then to actually see it and it was bloody awful. I was like, why the hell was this main event? And people are like mad about them mentioning Charlotte's brother and how I was surprised. I thought Ric Flair and that would have been notified of it, but they weren't. And Charlotte's mum wasn't happy with it. I can understand. I mean, it didn't bother me, but I can understand why it would obviously bother Rick and her mum and that. But just an awful segment. But the build has been alright. Apart from that, it's been okay. And I'll go with Charlotte retaining. Another swerve was Becky joining Paige. I mean, that would be insane if that happened. I would be really shocked if that happened. But I don't know. I don't see that happening. But you never know. I mean, she did go with Sasha Banks at back in NXT, so you never know. Maybe that could happen. She could join Paige. You never know. And speaking of Sasha Banks, there might be a match on the pre-show with her versus Natalya. There was rumours, but there was also a thing saying that probably there isn't going to be a match, which I think is stupid. You should have at least one match or something on the pre-show. You have a whole hour. You could easily do it. But that whole storyline thing's been pretty crap as well. The Natalya attack thing, they just haven't followed up and been consistent with it. Just awful booking. But it's no surprise from all Vince. And if you didn't see SmackDown, you can't really tell on SmackDown, but if you watch main event, you can see that most of that arena didn't have fans in it. Like the upper level or tier or whatever had no fans, and the fans at the hard camera side, which if you don't know what that is, it's where the camera sits, like where it's like back and you can see the whole ring and everything. Well, that side, almost all of that area had no fans in it, just like a bit of the front row bit, but the rest had nothing. You could see that on the main event show. They actually had shots of it, which is surprising to me. It did really bad attendance, and I remember reading the thing. People said it was about as bad as a TNA show. It was that bad. It's then again, SmackDown is a kind of a pointless show. You know, there's nothing. But then again, Raw isn't that great at times either. But there's just, I honestly think they need to do the brand split again. I've been saying it for a while. I'm seeing other people saying it now. They need to have the brand split again, and I think you should just make SmackDown live. I just think it's just a necessity now. Too many people use the internet and read spoilers and what have you. It would be better going live. I don't think it's gonna happen. Like, they're moving to a new channel in America and at the start of the year, and I don't think it's gonna be live. So unless they change the taping days to do it on a Thursday, but I don't see that happening. Don't see that happening at all. So it looks like it'll still be taped, and they're saying that they're going to try and make it relevant and load up the show with stars or whatever. Cena's going to be there. They said that last year when they moved to Thursday or whatever. Nothing's changed really. So yeah, there's that. I kind of rambled on there about all that. Moving on, we have the Brothers of Destruction, Kane and Undertaker versus the Wyatt family. I thought this was going to be a 4-on-4 dealio, but it's not. It's just 2 versus 2, and Bray Wyatt has to reveal who those two will be. And I was thinking while watching SmackDown that they could debut someone else here, like for Wyatt, But I don't know if there's any other big beardy dudes in NXT or in the on the main roster. Like beardy guy would be Sandow, but he's kind of small compared to the rest of them. I don't see that happening. So I don't know. I'm guessing Bray will be one of the guys, and most likely Braun, maybe Luke. I'd like to be Luke because Luke's really good. Luke Harper's really a great wrestler. But another swerve thing I was reading was that Sting could come out to help Taker and Kane if the Wyatts just decide to start beating the crap out of them, which would be a pretty awesome moment if that happened. Like I remember when this first was announced, like back after Hell in a Cell, people were predicting like Daniel Bryan or Finn Balor or Sting as like as tag partners for Kane and Taker, which would have been pretty cool. But I don't want any more people to come up to the main roster because it's just too overcrowded. I keep seeing people saying, oh, with like this whole Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor thing, like, oh, Joe has to win so then Finn can come up to the main roster. Why would you want that to happen? I just don't get it. Can you not tell by now that that's not a good thing? Like, and the same with, like I seen on Twitter, a post about the Ascension facing Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, and it was like, oh lol, the Ascension's been demoted to NXT, and I was like, how is that a demotion, getting to wrestle a different format of match instead of the same crap every week on Raw and that? Because if you look at the match on NXT and then look at the matches on Raw and that, especially tag matches is the best example, because tag matches on Raw and that just follow the exact same format every single time. Whereas as this week, and more importantly a few weeks ago, Jason Jordan and Chad Gable versus Tommaso Ciampa and what was his name, Johnny Gargano, had, in my opinion, one of the top 3 matches this year in WWE. Just an absolutely phenomenal tag match, and it was just so unpredictable and so action packed and unique and different. It was just unbelievable. I came in expecting like just a regular match. I wasn't expecting my mind to be blown like it was in that match. It was insane. Absolutely insane. Like when Jason Jordan gets that hot tag and he starts going ape shit, just awesome. The belly to bellies, German suplex, just a lot. It just an awesome match. So good, so good. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. But yeah, I keep rambling on about other stuff here. But I think Bray Wyatt and that should win. Don't know if they will, since this is rumoured to be Taker's last Survivor Series. But who needs the win more? Bray Wyatt. So I think Bray Wyatt should win. Now, next on the list is like the final for the world title thing. So I'm guessing it'll be Reigns and Ambrose. I want to see Reigns join the Authority and turn heel. Like, I mean, it's more likely to be Ambrose since Vince is such a hard-on for Roman Reigns. And Ambrose could pull it off well. He really could. Ambrose would work, but I think it'd be better to go with Reigns because he really needs someone to do the talking for him because he's not good at it. At least the mega scripted stuff, he's not good at it. Whereas Ambrose is just a lunatic and could do all kinds of bloody promos. He's really good at promos. Saying he wanted to replace Michael Cole with a fish tank, I would not be opposed to that. But I think Reigns should turn heel. But there has to be a screwy finish for this. There just has to be. There has to be something happen. There's no way it can just end a regular match with Reigns winning. Or Ambrose winning, which just won't happen. If Reigns wins, and that's it, just 2 normal faces and they're okay with it, Sheamus has to come in and cash in and win. That's my prediction. We haven't really seen Sheamus the last few weeks, so maybe that's intentional, maybe that's the way they're going. But if not, then I want Reigns or somebody to turn heel. Even if Ambrose turns heel, I'd be disappointed because I'd rather it be Reigns, but I'd be happy with a heel turn of some sort. I like the screwy finishes. And then the so-called fans that say they know how wrestling works will then complain about a screwy finish. Even though they're in love with the Attitude Era you know, and which was filled with screw finishes all the time. It happens all the time. I see it after all the pay-per-views and stuff. People complain about all that stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. The kiddies, understandable. They're still dumb as hell. You know, they'll figure it out one day. But for people like that to say that they know how wrestling works and then they complain about that, that's what makes wrestling. That's how wrestling works. It's how it works. It's how it's been for so long. Screwy finishes like that. That's how heels get over. Some people don't get that. But anyways, yeah. I say if Reigns doesn't come out of this winning, then it'll be Sheamus. Sheamus will leave as the world champion. So yep, moving on. The last one, which hasn't been announced yet, will most likely will be announced after I've got this uploaded, or just after, you know, as it usually stuff like that does happen. But it's a traditional tag match. But they haven't announced anybody who's going to be in it. Oh my god, what is this? New WWE Breaking Ground airing after Survivor Series. Why is it airing then? They always do this. Bloody, they think people want to sit and watch shit for hours and hours and hours. Because there was no one this past week on Raw, because of the bloody Undertaker thing. It says, a new episode of WWE Breaking Ground will air on the network this Sunday night after Survivor Series goes off the air. It will replay after Monday's Raw goes off the air. Well, I mean, that's been good. Some people were complaining that it should be longer, but, you know, the less the better. Because I don't like having loads of bloody stuff to watch. I like that because it's good, you know, because it's about NXT and stuff. I'll watch that, but I don't watch other stuff like Renee's show or all that other stuff. I don't watch any of that. But for this tag match thing, I can't believe I spoke 70 minutes. I thought I was going to get through this really quickly, but you know me, I like to ramble about wrestling. And my guess will be the New Day and the Lucha Dragons versus the Dudley Boys. No, wait, sorry, did I just say the New Day and the Lucha Dragons? The New Day and the Ascension versus the Dudley Boys, the Lucha Dragons, and Ryback. And if that happens, I'd probably see the Dudleys in that winning it, but well, I don't know. I feel they're kind of, you know, ruining the Dudleys. I mean, there's the Usos. They could maybe get thrown in. Who knows? But kind of ruining the Dudleys. But they can't book people well that are not involved, like that are going for the tag titles or whatever. They can't do that. They just focus on two teams, and then they can't do anything else. They got all this time and they can't do it. It's so annoying. It can be done, but Vince, you know Vince. But anyways, let's move on to the tournament. Like, let's speak about possibilities of what other people should have gotten through to. My main one is Kalisto. Like, when this tournament was announced and I seen that, and I was like, oh my god, Ryback's winning this. But I was like, why not do something really unpredictable and have Kalisto go through? And then he did go through in an awesome match. Like, when I read this, I spoke about this to a couple of people, but I read the spoilers, or like flicked through the spoilers, and I seen that the match. I try not to read the spoilers. I usually just flick through it to see comments or whatever if anybody says anything about it. And it said about Kalisto that these two had no chemistry, and it was a crap match or something. And I was like, oh, I'm not looking forward to this. Well, I never really said that. I was just sort of like, oh, okay. And then when I got to it, and it was an awesome match. The best bloody main roster weekly show match that I'd seen in a while. It was awesome. When Kalisto hit the bloody Salida del Sol off the top rope, I went apeshit. That was an awesome moment, and I couldn't believe it. I was so surprised to see something like that happen. So surprised. Like, Kalisto, you always read these things about them wanting a new Latin star or Mexican star, whatever. Kalisto's your guy. I think Sin Cara's holding him back. He's botched a lot. He has improved. He does botch a lot. Bloody Cesaro could be a luchador. Did you see that thing he did on Miz with the tilt-a-whirl into the crossface? That's something the bloody lucha guys do a lot. And Cesaro's doing that. The guy can do everything. He can be a strong guy, he can be a technical guy, he can be a high-flying lucha guy. He's the perfect package. You just gotta give him a promo, somebody to do his promos for him. And you had him with Paul Heyman, and you ruined him. But anyways, Kalisto, I would have loved to seen Kalisto beat Del Rio and go through. That would have been so cool. Even though he would have lost to Reigns, but I'd have loved to see something shocking like that. Like, this whole thing's been, apart from that Kalisto thing, it's been really predictable. Really predictable. And then the Neville versus Kevin Owens match was good. The reverse Hurricane Rana, that was pretty sweet. But it would have been really cool to have been a really unpredictable thing, but it's been so predictable. And people were complaining about like a Titus O'Neil being in there and Kalisto being in there, Stardust, and it really shows that they don't have any like main stars right now, which is true. They don't build them up well. It's their own fault. They don't know they can't book people anymore, or they refuse not to. Just keep pushing Cena, or they want Reigns to replace Cena. Bad idea. Push multiple people. Like back in the Attitude Era. I'm not one of those guys that's in love with the Attitude Era, but you push so many good. There was always somebody in a feud. Like, there was always something good happening, no matter what. Like, what match was happening. There was always something good. There was always a feud going, and now that doesn't happen. Like, it's annoying. There's multiple main event stars. If one guy got injured, like say Stone Cold got injured, then you had The Rock, Undertaker, Jericho, Mankind, all these guys, Taker, Kane, and now they just focus on the one person or a couple people, and that's it. And it's gonna hurt them. Like, this kind of proves it. But apparently Reigns was gonna win here anyway. Like, no matter what happened, Reigns was gonna win. And we're going to have a rematch with Seth at TLC, in a TLC match. So, yeah. And apparently that Seth being injured isn't a big deal to their main event plans at WrestleMania, which I thought was just a joke, really. I mean, which pretty much means they're just focusing on part-timers, again. This is their problem, relying too much on old people. And I spoke about RAW and SmackDown being split, but that's something that needs to happen as well. Like, if you look 10 years ago, you had Cena, Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Triple H. Well, not Goldberg. That was a bit before 10 years ago, but all these guys that became world champion, like a JBL as well. There's all that guys, and that would never happen now, and it doesn't happen now because there's only one title. Like, guys like Cesaro, Ziggler, Dean Ambrose, The Miz, Barrett, all these guys could easily be world champion if you had two brands with two world titles and two tag titles and all that stuff. Two women's titles. That's something that needs to happen. You could easily do that now. That's something that really should be happening. Because there's too many of them on the main roster now. Too many. That could easily be happening. But I think they definitely should need to split it up. Two world titles. I think that would be a good thing. It would help elevate more people, make more stars. Let Vince and his out of touch ways run Raw, and let Triple H run SmackDown. Or just get Vince out and let Triple H run it. Maybe let Heyman run one of the shows, or getting all these other old guys like JR, Mick Foley, Bret Hart, etc. Let these guys run the show. They know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. That would work. But I'm gonna stop here. I really thought I was gonna get through this quickly, but no. I've rambled on for a while. So yeah, that's about it. Feel free to tell me your predictions below. What you think is gonna happen. Oh, what's this? WWE legend believes Dean Ambrose will win gold. Who's this? Mick Foley's my guess. Let's see. Oh no, it's The Fink predicted Dean Ambrose and Alberto Del Rio to make it to the finals. Oh, what a load of bullshit. That's those WWE.com things. That's a load of bullshit. They'll just be told to say that. I'm not believing that crap. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Hit that like button. And I'm wearing my Tittylicious Ryback shirt. It's looking good. And yeah, see you for my review. Bye.